Hello students, we were discussing about injective, subjective and bijective function. Uh, we have already discussed some examples on these functions. Okay, today we will prove some results. Suppose if x and y are finite sets such that cardinality of x is equal to cardinality of y, then f from x to y is injective if and only if it is subjective. If the function is injective, then it is subjective, and if it is subjective, then it must be injective. Okay, f is a function from x to y. Cardinality x and y are finite sets means there are finite number of elements in these two sets, and what is there? Cardinality of x is equal to cardinality of y. That means number of elements present in a x must be equal to the number of elements present in y. If this happens, then any function x to y is injective if and only if it is subjective. That means if it is injective, then it must be subjective. If it is subjective, then it must be injective. Let us see proof. Let cardinality of x is equal to m, that is equal to cardinality of y. Suppose n, you take n, right? Number of elements. Then you say x is equal to, you can take x1, x2 up to xn, and y is equal to y1, y2 up to yn, right? If you keep it in Venn diagram, then it is also clear. It is x1, x2, x3 up to xn, y1, y2, y3 up to yn. Our function f is a function from these trees. First, let us say let f be subjective. Suppose it is subjective. If it is subjective, what will happen? Range of f, then range of f is equal to y. Range of, that is range of f, cardinality is equal to cardinality of y, that is equal to n. Okay, we shall show that given let cardinality of y is n and let it is subjective. Subjective when the function will be subjective? When range of f will be equal to y. Range of f is equal to y. That means cardinality of the range is equal to cardinality of y. Okay. Now, yes, we shall show that it is injective. It is given, we shall show that it is injective. This is given. Yes, we shall show that F is injective. We shall show that F is injective. We will use the method of contradiction, you know. We will use the method of contradiction. If possible, let F is not injective. Suppose it is not injective. That means it is many one. That is, it has at least two elements in X which has same elements. So let f of x1 is equal to f of y1, that is equal, f of x2 that is equal to y1. Say, suppose f of x1 is equal to y1, f of x2 is y1, right? You may say why x1, x2? Oh, any two elements of x may be related to one element of y. At least two elements of x. This is x, this is y. At least two elements of x will be related to one element of y. Say x1, x2. Monica, suppose x1 and x2 are related to y1. That means f of x1 is y1 and f of x2 is y2. Then you see f of x3, and then what will happen? F of x3 is some y, f of y3 x4, like this. Now, so the remaining, how many elements remain here? Out of n elements, n minus 2. Remaining n minus 2 elements of x have at most, maximum, at most n minus 2 images in y. At most, because one element of x cannot be related to more than one element of y. So, as there are n minus 2 elements remaining in x, these n minus 2 elements may have at most n minus 2 images. At most, maximum n minus 2. It may be less than that. It may be less than that. Because if some elements will be again related to a single element, then the number of images will decrease. If possible. So maximum number of elements is n minus 2 images. Maximum number of images in y is n minus 2. So range of f. So f, cardinality of f of x. So cardinality of f of x will be what? N minus 2 is less than, of course, less than equal to n minus 2. That one, f of x1 is equal to f of x2. They have only one image, so we have to add it here. It is at most n minus 2 means it is less than equal to n minus 2, less than b. It can be less than n minus 2. N minus 2 plus 1, which is equal to what? N minus 1. Right? Cardinality of fx. That means range of f, cardinality of range of f is less than equal to n minus 1. Which is less than n, and this implies cardinality of range of f is less than cardinality of y. it is less than cardinality of y. Okay, so it is not. This is a contradiction, you see. Why? Because by hypothesis, you may write, but this is a contradiction. But this contradicts the hypothesis that cardinality of range of f is equal to cardinality of y. By hypothesis, range of f should be equal to y. So here, range of f is equal to y. So cardinality of range of f should be cardinality of y. But here, range of f, cardinality of the range is less than the cardinality of y. This is a contradiction. This is a contradiction to our hypothesis. So our assumption, if possible, is not 1, 1. This is wrong. So our assumption is wrong. So our assumption is wrong. Is wrong. And hence it is wrong. Hence, what is right? R-U-N-G. Wrong. So what is correct? Thus, f must be, thus, f from x to y is injective. It is injective, right? It must be injective. Okay? So, this is the thing. If it is subjective, then it must be injective. And the converse. Let us start the converse. Converse means we have to assume that the function is injective. We shall show that it is subjective. Yes. Okay? We will wipe out it. Suppose, yes. Yes. Suppose this is y. Let f from x to y be injective. That means one element of x will be related to one element of y. No two elements of x will be related to a single element of y. No two elements of x will be related to a single element of y. So 1, 1. So you see how many elements are there? There are n elements in x. So these n elements have n number of preimages, and those n number of preimages should be the elements of y. As x has n elements and f is injective, the number of images of the elements of x will be n in number, and the image, the range of f, here you see, so n in number, cardinality of y is n. So what will happen? It must be equal to n. It must be equal to n, right? So thus here range of f is a subset of y, and this implies and a range of f and cardinality of range of f is equal to n, which is also equal to cardinality of y. So range of f must be equal to y. This is a subset of this, we know. If f is a function from x to y, then range of f is a subset of range y. But we know that, but here range of f, cardinality of range of f is n, which is equal to the cardinality of y. How it is possible? This is possible only when range of f is equal to y. Yes. So, and this implies f is surjective. It is surjective, right? Surjective. So thus, if f is a function from one finite set to another finite set, and the cardinalities of both the finite sets are equal, then if f is 1, 1, then it must be onto, and if f is onto, then it must be injective or 1, 1. Okay, this is the thing. Now we will go to another concept. Yes. Okay, 1, 1 correspondence, right? 1, 1 correspondence. One correspondence. 1 correspondence. Right. If x and y are any two sets and there exists a bijective function, bijective mapping f from x to y or from y to x, whatever it may be, from x to y or y to x, then we say that x and y have a 1-to-1 correspondence. 1-to-1 correspondence. They have a 1-to-1 correspondence. They may be finite, may be infinite. X and y are two such sets. There exists a bijective mapping, a bijective function from one set to another set. Then we say that these two sets are have 1-to-1 correspondence, and we say that, yes, here we say that x and y are two equivalent sets, equivalent or similar or equivalent or equipotent potent sets. Symbolically, we write it as x is equivalent to y, like this. This is the notion. We write x is equivalent to y. x is similar. That understand? If there exists a one-to-one correspondence, one-to-one correspondence means if there exists a bijective function, if there exists a bijective function from one set to another set, we say that these two sets have a one-to-one correspondence, right? And we say that these two sets are equivalent sets or equipotent sets or equivalent sets or similar sets. Yes, this is very important concept. Why? Because you see, you will read later in the higher cases, what is a countable set? What is a countable set? Infinite set. Countably infinite, uncountably infinite. What does it mean? That means the set of elements which are countable. What is counting? That means we are making a one-to-one correspondence with the set of natural numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like this we are counting. 1. So suppose x1, x2, x3, whatever you are counting the pens. Pen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. You are counting. That means you are making a one-to-one correspondence with the set of natural numbers or its subsets. In case of finite sets, we make a one-to-one correspondence with a subset of the set of natural numbers, and in case of infinite sets, we are making a one-to-one correspondence with the set of natural numbers, right? But uncountable set, where we are unable to make a one-to-one correspondence with the set of elements with the set of natural numbers, right? For example, your set of real numbers, it is an uncountable set. The set of irrational numbers, this is an uncountable set. But the set of rational numbers, it is countable. We can make a one-to-one correspondence with the set of natural numbers. You will study it in higher classes anyway. So suppose there are x1, x, y, z, u, v, like this. This is a set having, how we say, and a set, suppose it is A, this is, I will take another set of natural numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, a subset of the set of natural numbers. Right, now these are two sets starting from 1, subset starting from 1. X1, Y, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are assigning a number to all these elements, right? That means we are making a one-to-one correspondence. What is that? F is equal to x1, y2, z3, u4, v5, right? You see, this is a relation. This is a function which is both 1, 1 and 1, 2, which is a bijective mapping from A to B. So these two sets are equivalent and we are able to count the elements, right? This is A is equivalent to B here. These are two equivalent sets. We will take some other examples of equivalent sets. Suppose here A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to like this, up to 10, right? 10. Or the set of natural numbers you may take, the set of natural numbers, positive integers, and B is equal to the set of even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like this, right? It is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this, right? C is equal to 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, like this. You see, we can say that this is a subset of this is also a subset of this. But these are all similar sets. They are equivalent sets. How? Now let us define. Let f be a function from A to B defined by fx is equal to 2x. fx is equal to 2x. You see, this is a bijective function. This is a bijective function. Why? You say f of x1 for x1 x2 belongs to for x1 x2. We have proved it. Let f of x1 is equal to f of x2. This implies 2x1 is equal to 2x2. This implies x1 is equal to x2, right? So it is 1 1. So f is 1 1, right? On 2, yes, for y belongs to B, we can find x is equal to y by 2 in A, such that f of x is equal to y. F of x is what? 2x. 2 into y by 2. Yes, f of x is equal to 2x. Our x is what? 2 into y by 2. That is y. Y by 2 is a natural number. Why? Because y is an even natural number. It is given. Y is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like this. So it is this. So f is also surjective. It is surjective. Thus f is both injective as well as surjective. So it is a bijective mapping. Thus f is a bijective mapping. 1 1 and on 2. Thus f from A to B is bijective. So A is equivalent to B or similar to B. These two sets are equivalent. Similarly, you can show that A and C are equivalent. A and C are equivalent. How? Let us define a function from A to C such that gx is equal to 2x minus 1, right? 2x minus 1. You see, f of g of 1, 2 into 1 minus 1, 1. G of 2, 2 into 2 minus 1, 3. Like this. So it is, yes, here G is bijective. It is also, you can prove that this is also injective as well as surjective. For every y here you can find x in A, so that fx is equal to y. So this is also bijective. So A and C are equivalent. Similarly, you can show that B is equivalent to C. B is also equivalent to C. How? You can define a function from B to C such that hx is equal to x minus 1. You may test, this function is also a bijective function, right? This is also a bijective function. So this is equivalent to this. B is equivalent to C. Okay. So yes, when two sets will be equivalent, if there exists a bijective function from one set to another set. And these bijective functions are called if there exists a bijective function from A to B, we say that A and B have a one-to-one correspondence, and say that A is equivalent to B. Yes, this is all about your bijective function. Next time, of course, we have not discussed about trigonometric functions, the nature of trigonometric functions. We'll discuss in the next class and find the conditions under which the inverse of a function will be a function. The inverse of a function will be a function. Of course, this time it is deleted the composite mapping and inverse of a function. This chapter, this topic has been, these two topics have been deleted for this academic year. Though it is deleted, we will discuss about the inverse, because we have to read inverse trigonometric functions. Okay, thanks.